All right, well, tonight we're about to finish up chapter 19 workbook. The exercises 11 through 20. Hopefully we'll get through them tonight and be on to the next chapter. Typically, Bill Mounts includes some sentences that he made up, and these first two are that type. They're not found in scripture, but let's dig into them. Tinny, that's from the lexical form tis and t, but tinny is a dative singular feminine, as far as I can tell, because it modifies hemera, which is also dative singular feminine. And the way I translated that is, tinny is, there's two words that are so similar. Tis with an accent is an indefinite relative pronoun, if I've got that right. Like who or which with a question mark.
Yeah.
Without an accent, tis is anyone or someone or a certain one. Is that what you remember? Okay, so this has the accent, and
right, so it's an interrogative.
Right, it's interrogative.
Excuse me, I gave the wrong term. Interrogative.
Yes, I think
pronoun,
that was confusing me. Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes.
The other one is that.
Yeah, indefinite relative. Yeah. Okay, interrogative. So we're going to be asking a question. Of course, we've got a question mark at the end of this clause here. Dative requires a keyword in, or I chose on which day. And then we need a verb. And we've got the next verb we've got is perusantai, which is from peruomai, but this is a future deponent. Perusantai, it's third plural. They will go. Well, the subject is he meter I ha pater.
Right.
So putting it all together, on which day will the mother of you, the mother and the father of you, or your mother and father, go? So it's asking the question. Or another way to translate peruomai or perusantai is proceed. It's got the idea of going forward. Proceed is a synonym. Because we've got several different words for go. We've got urpamai.
When I looked this up in the lexicon, they also have the word travel.
Travel, yeah, that's a good one. Maybe that's a better one.
I kind of liked that.
I do too. I'm going to change.
In it, because where you end up with the context of this, go doesn't work in the English so well.
Okay, travel. Good choice. So, on which day will your mother and father travel? Hoda is here. It's an adverb. Kapo to oiku, from the house to atone of them, from their house. Para te talase, by the lake, or next to the lake.
Okay, like yeah, I thought sea, but
sea, yeah, sea.
I mean, yeah, we might call them lakes, like we call it Lake Galilee, but they call them, I don't know.
Sea of Galilee or Lake Galilee.
I think they had one word for both.
I was envisioning somebody who has a lake cottage.
I wonder if they meant the Sea of Tiberias. This is made up. So.
Yeah. And the answer to the question is te trite hemera metata sabbatam. The third day after the Sabbath. Is that close to what you got?
It is. Now,
Okay.
Zach and I were talking. So
give me that last part of your translation.
The third day after the Sabbath.
Yeah.
Meta with the accusative is after.
I guess my big question, and maybe our big question is why is hemera dative at the beginning of the sentence and then down on like te trite hemera is also dative.
Well, using the keyword, dative has such a fluid or flexible range of meanings. They gave us keywords to, for, in, with, but you can also say by, like by means of. But here, on is very similar to in, so I chose because we say not in the third day, but on the third day. So I used it as a keyword for the dative.
Right. It seemed like there's a whole implied phrase almost in this construction, right? Which was on which day will your mother and father travel?
Travel here.
Yeah, travel here from their house by the sea. They will travel here on the third day after the Sabbath.
Yeah.
It's like the implied meaning.
Implied, yeah.
And so I had translated it on the third day after the Sabbath.
Yeah, I did
the
too.
second phrase.
So is this an adverb or is it an object?
Well, hoda is an adverb, but I think you're asking about this last phrase.
Laura,
we're asking
hoda?
about the phrases
Hoda, no.
tini hemera
Hemera, is that
and
an
te trite hemera.
is hemera there? Is that an adverb, or is that a?
That's a noun.
No, but and it's part of speech.
Okay.
Right? How is it related to?
The whole phrase can be considered adverbial.
But they have only one word
day.
there.
Yeah.
They only had one word.
Chimera. Is that what you mean?
Right. Well, in English, it's a participle phrase with and it serves as an adverb. But look, so we talk about objects and we speak about them in this way. I throw the ball to you.
Right.
That's an English statement in which I say the ball is a direct object. Yes. To you is the indirect object.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yeah, it's a prepositional phrase, but it's used as an indirect object because I could say I throw you the ball.
But in the Greek, we want to use the word to, right? Commonly, the key word we associate
to or
to.
Okay.
We commonly associate that with the accusative case, don't we? Yeah.
No, to is a preposition.
No, it's okay. So to is one of the words we could use. Sorry,
yeah.
With the dative. Why am I thinking that? I don't know. I can set, so it seems that it's in the position, and that's why I say it's an adverb. It also could be an indirect, but there is no, so when I say they come, there's no object.
No, that's an intransitive verb.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So it takes no object.
It takes no object. Yeah.
All right. And that's kind of the thing I was looking at. I don't really know why this is dated because but the question that follows up is, so if I'm going to use a noun in a adverbial manner to become dative, is that a common thing?
Well, it's only adverbial in the structure of the sentence if it modifies a verb.
Yeah, so if I'm using a Greek noun in an adverbial fashion,
it's part of speech. In a phrase that the phrase is used.
There's no, in the Greek, there's no phrase.
Yeah, te trite hemera is a phrase.
Right. But okay.
But it is used adverbially.
If you took out the third day, the day, I mean,
Okay,
I'm not sure that it's because you have a modifier of day that it's in a, that's not why it's dative.
no, but
It's dative because it's modifying a, that's what I'm asking you.
yeah, because,
If I say the third day and it's not modifying a verb, it could be nominative.
yeah,
But why is it dative?
because what Zach was saying, he did something that I didn't think of. And the question is, on which day are they going or traveling? Well, he repeated that traveling in the second part.
Yes.
They are traveling,
Yeah,
and then
yeah, I
because
understand
he
that.
did that. Okay,
It's
so
implied.
implied is traveling, the verb,
Okay,
and the te trite hemera
yes.
is
I
when they're
wrote that
traveling.
in parentheses here.
Yeah,
I
okay.
understand that we're missing
Okay,
the not the subject, which would be a nominative.
this,
And but that's not my question.
yeah, I know your
It-
question is why does the te trite hemera become
And-
adverbial?
And I think your answer is because that allows us in English to use the word on. And I'm not
No,
satisfied
here-
with that answer.
It answers the question when.
But that
that's what
doesn't answer the, okay.
they're
All
traveling.
right.
When are they
Okay,
traveling?
you're saying,
On the third day.
right, but why?
So
Carl,
Why
can
is it?
okay, but you're putting it in dative. And again, your answer is the English keywords we get to use.
Yeah,
And I'm saying that doesn't satisfy me. In the Greek, if I'm going to use a noun in a manner that makes it adverbial, is it normally the case that I would make it dative? Is that common?
let me think for a second. Um, uh, yeah, yes, I think it is common, but maybe it's not the only.
I wouldn't necessarily expect it to be.
Yeah.
But but you wouldn't use a nominative now,
No,
or would you?
but
I
you
don't-
might use an accusative or a genitive, but to structure the sentence so that you would have a phrase in the accusative or genitive, I'm not sure that would be used adverbially.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah.
But
We'd have to look at some
that's fair
examples.
enough.
Yeah.
I just, the sense to me was that the reason it's in dative is essentially because of its relationship to the verb. When I'm looking at this.
Right, we
And,
Yeah.
definitely agree on that.
and we agree on that. And it's in the place of an adjective. It's acting as an adverb. It's acting as an adverb.
It's modifying traveling.
And that's really why it's in, that's why
Yeah.
it's in the dative. And the way we translate it into English is we have these keywords we use. But
Yeah,
that's because in English, we can't do that. So we have to have a preposition.
Right.
Yeah.
And the reason I wanted to use the preposition was just simply to try to signify the fact that in the Greek, the dative was used seemingly to signify that relationship to the verb.
Absolutely.
To show that it's modifying the verb, which is why I kept on, or you could keep the whole phrase or something like that. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
That's an approximation of it.
it's tempting to me to look at it and cast about for a keyword but I'm wanting to see why
It's
the dative.
dative because of its relationship to the verb.
Yeah, it's telling me something
yeah,
there.
right.
I think, yeah.
it's
Okay.
helpful to me to think of it as answering the question when.
But when you do that, you're going to put it in dative mode.
Yeah, I think that would be the most normal
Okay.
thing to do. I
All right.
believe.
So if you were to see just teeny, okay, so just taking the question part of this. Teeny hemera, it makes sense that hemera is dative simply because it's preceded by teeny? Or is it because it
Well, why did they put tis in the dative to make it tinny?
right. Teeny is also dative, right?
Tinny is
Right.
dative.
So
Yeah.
that whole thing was dative because it's relating to the
Well,
verb.
oh, okay, but if you didn't,
Including the relative pronoun is also.
but if you said on the third day and made it a statement, which the next one essentially does, if you say on the third day or the first day or someday, you said
Right, it would still be dative.
it would still be dative
Right.
because it's in the play. It's an adverb, which
Right,
when you
right.
say it's
Whether
because it
teeny is
answers
there.
the question.
Mhm.
When?
When
Well,
did the action of the
that's what
verb
an
happen?
adverb does.
Because of the adverbial relation.
That's what an
you
adverb
mean
does.
when you say them.
Yeah,
An adverb,
helping.
one of the functions of an adverb is asked to answer the question when,
Right.
Well, wait,
right,
wait,
what,
wait.
How, why?
look.
or why, or what, or
Yeah,
well,
yeah, but
something more about it.
it's when, why, or what does the action of the verb happen?
Yeah,
Right. right.
Yeah, you
Has
gotta
be
tie
when
it to the
they're-
verb.
that's
to
right.
Make it an
That,
adverb.
yes, yes, yes. Some
Right.
verbs you might, it may not be, it may be more subtle than that.
Also,
So teeny and hammer
Or in what
both
way?
in the dative because they're modifying how they're traveling
yeah,
or when,
how or
when they're traveling.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, another thing about adverbs, we haven't studied adverbs separately yet.
Right.
Okay. I
but
was
then-
don't know if I
gotten there.
forgot something or
No,
else.
It's okay.
Okay.
But we also, do they form adverbs in a different way, or that is just the case and the use?
Well, there are certain words that are only adverb.
Okay. we
One
haven't
of
gotten
them
to those yet.
is hoda.
Sure,
That's
yeah,
a time-related adverb.
right,
It means when.
right.
But there are many other adverbs. I've in my
Wait,
lexicon,
Hode?
Where do I see-
Hode?
hoda. Yeah,
Yes,
Omicron delta epsilon?
no, that's some omega.
Sorry, omega delta epsilon.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
It means when.
Oh, I got that wrong in my translation.
I think they've got it in this.
no,
one.
I think it's here, not
I thought that
when.
was here.
Are you,
Did
when
I?
I think that means here.
Okay, yes, you're right.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, we're taking teeny to be when, I think. Right? Because that's like
On
an
which
interrogative
day is
sort
how-
of word.
I'm sorry, I'm mixing that hoda up with another
Well, it's
word.
me, yeah,
Oh,
actually,
okay.
teeny is what?
Right.
On what?
What day, yeah.
Yeah,
Now
it's the
I'm
dative
worried.
that makes it on what.
Yeah, right. We use that keyword to signify the
Here.
adverbial relationship.
Okay, let's just go, what day?
What
Okay.
day are your parents trying? Well, I say that.
Yeah, we might. Actually. just
Okay,
enough.
what I'm thinking, hota, I think is the word I'm,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think in that,
Hota.
I remember that word, but
or hata.
hata,
That's,
um,
What is it? Omicron?
my memory is not failing me
Oh.
right
It's
now.
all right.
um,
Oh. I remember this word now. Vaguely.
Hata, yeah.
Oh, with the epsilon.
Yeah.
Yeah, not hati, but hata.
hata.
Hata,
When.
yeah.
And that is only ever an adverb.
They call it a particle here, but yeah, when it's used in a question, then it's an adverb. When it's used as a, well, they call it a particle. That's a,
Don't you need more to go with? It's not a,
yeah, you need a context to tell
you
you.
need something to, they are, okay, I don't remember the way it's used. I will go home when I'm satisfied or
Yeah,
something to that effect.
Yeah, that's a good example.
When I'm satisfied, but you need the whole phrase to go
Mhm.
with it, or it doesn't stand
Yeah.
by itself.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is
Okay,
why it's
let's
different.
let's
Yeah.
go forward.
Okay.
I'd like to not spend too much
Okay.
time on each one of
All right.
these.
Well, thank you for indulging our.
Yeah,
question.
it's good to bat these around. Okay. Our verb is the first word, proskunesomen. Comes from proskuneo,
Works.
epsilon contract. Proskunesomen, that's future active indicative first plural of proskuneo. Proskuneo is an epsilon contract. And if you remember, with contract verbs and the tense formative sigma, you lengthen the connecting vowel before adding
So it becomes
the sigma.
nesomen.
Yeah, proskunesomen. Okay, that means we will worship. Ton kurion, we will worship the Lord. Ton basileia, Amon, the King of us. We will worship the Lord our King.
Mhm.
Diatain megalane, agapain,
That's like according or because of
because of
his great love.
yeah,
Like a lane.
yeah, his great love, the
Yeah,
great love
the
of
great
him.
love of him.
Pay mean to us, his
Yeah.
great love to us,
For us, I mean,
or for us, yeah.
to us.
Either keyword.
Yeah, I like two better, actually. Somehow I actually like
Okay.
two better.
And the
I had to look at Epigelius.
the promises.
Promises,
Okay, that's
yeah.
the word.
Promises.
And the promises,
Okay.
his promises.
Yep.
Taste a reines of love and of the righteousness.
Oh, isn't that peace?
Promises. Oh, yeah. Peace and righteousness.
Yeah, his promises.
I wouldn't know. I just
of
looked
peace
it up.
and righteousness.
His promises of peace and righteousness.
Of righteousness. And I said, and of righteousness.
Yeah,
Just
you can do
because
that.
that's, and it's easy. I just because that's the way.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever. It's the same
Now
thing, right?
I'm taking these two nouns, erenes and dikaiasunes, since they're articular, they have the article, but I think they're articular to indicate that they're what's the word? Abstract nouns. These are abstract. The word abstract means it's not connected with something. And maybe I better use this book to help me here. He has mentioned this before. A lot of times, for instance, 1 Corinthians 13, it's the love chapter. Love is patient and kind,
Right.
and so forth. That's using the word love in the abstract. I believe that's, I got the word wrong. Absolute. No? Just a minute here. Abstract noun, a substantive that signifies a concept, quantity, quality, or state, among other things, as in hatred and sportsmanship. It is the opposite of a concrete noun. Okay, concrete versus abstract. Concrete noun, which refers to something tangible or real, wall, ocean, etc. Okay, I was right. Abstract is a term I was trying to come up with here, because I think peace and righteousness are used as abstract nouns in this way.
So love is also abstract, right?
Yeah, well, it
And we
can
have-
be used as a concrete thing. The father's love for his son,
So,
that's using it concretely. But
well, right here, te megalane,
the great,
agape,
yeah,
the great love.
yeah.
This is this something now
Now
that
that's a concrete noun. The great love
why
of
is
Jesus
that?
Christ.
How is that? I guess I'm okay. Why is that concrete, but his promises are not? What are we saying?
That's a good question. And that's what I'm trying to get fixed in my mind and trying to communicate to you. His promises of peace and love are not referring to anybody's in particular. They're just in general. They're promises of peace and love.
The promises are concrete, but the use of the word peace and love are not.
I think you're right. He has given promises to every believer of peace and righteousness. It's kind of a fine line of distinction, but there are times when it's very clearly an abstract use of the noun. And I think
I'm really not following. I'm sorry, I don't follow.
maybe
this.
I shouldn't have opened up that.
I'm not.
He does talk about abstract.
Because to me, all of these are abstract things. It is not a thing we can put our hand on, but they're
Okay.
definite. And I don't know that his promises are less
Yeah,
definite than his
they're
love.
definite, but abstract.
But then love is also abstract. I don't see that these things are different. They're concept.
Okay.
Love is a concept we share. It's not a what the table is. I'm not following.
Well, I think we better leave that one alone. I don't think I can explain it well enough.
Okay. And you're saying then in this sentence, love is not concrete because it doesn't have the article, but
No, I'm saying
love is
this
concrete.
is the great love of
It has the modifier,
yeah,
the great.
yeah. But I'm thinking that one is concrete.
Because it's lacking the article in
Because
front
it's
of
talking
agape.
about a particular the Lord right
No,
here.
no, I'm talking about
Kurion is the one who's doing the loving to us, but the promises are not. They're given to anyone, not necessarily to just us.
okay. I wouldn't call that the usage of the word abstract isn't helpful to me. It's more like you're talking about
And given to
it's an
anyone,
undecided who gets it.
indefinite.
It's indefinite.
Yeah,
Indefinite.
the recipient of the peace and
Yeah, okay.
and
I can
righteousness is
see that.
indefinite.
God is the one that's doing the loving and the promising,
Yeah,
but it doesn't, the sentence doesn't tell us who receives the promise.
Yeah.
Okay.
But to me,
Okay.
that indicates an abstract thing because it's not given
Okay.
concretely to
So
anybody.
grammatically, I'm trying to ask about the grammatical form here too. So grammatically, we don't have an article in front of agape.
Oh, it's in front of the
It is.
Yes, well,
And
okay.
the adjective. Sorry,
Well,
we have
because we're talking about having the article in front of peace and,
Well, in this case, it doesn't have to be immediately in front of it.
well, then how is
there's an
it?
adjective in between, but it
Yeah.
still is an articulate.
Yeah.
Then how is it different? Grammatically, why is it different?
Grammatically, it's not, but conceptually, it is.
But if I didn't have the article, I'm trying to understand how else this would be said. If I said out to Erinase, without the article, it would be concrete. I'm not following what
Did you say something about articles
didn't you
in
say?
relationship to abstract versus concrete?
Isn't that what you were saying? Did I miss something?
Well, it's when we studied adjectives, we had the different positions of the article in relation to the adjective. But here I'm talking about the this is an attributive position of the adjective relative to the article.
I think the word was definitive, definitive, not definitive, but so were you talking about the taste in front of the noun? And that the reason it's there, I missed something completely. I'm sorry. What makes
There's
it
no adjective
abstract?
here, it's just the article and the noun.
What makes it abstract? I'm not.
The fact that it's the promise is offered to any person, not a particular
I don't know
person.
if he was talking about.
So it's got nothing to do with
No,
the
it's
words.
got nothing to do with the article or the adjective. It's just that the promise is offered to any believer, not.
You're interpreting it.
Yeah, it's an
Oh,
interpretation.
all right. I thought we were talking
not-
about. I don't know why, because I thought you were saying it has. I misunderstood you. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
Move on.
yeah, let's
I'm
move
sorry.
on. We use kai thugateras genesis kai uk esontai soy.
Yeah.
So Could I take a stab?
Yeah,
at
do
this?
that one.
Okay, so we use Kai Thugateros, sorry. That would be sons and daughters.
That's right.
And in both cases, they're accusative,
That's right.
plural.
Right.
So taking them to be the object of the verb which follows, which is
Genesis.
genesis. Yep, which would be the future active, indicative, and it's second person singular. So
Yes.
you will beget sons and daughters. And then the phrase at the end is the one that tends to hang me up. So kai uk esontai soy.
Yeah.
So what I see there, esontai is the being verb.
Yeah.
And
In
this
me.
is future. Ontai. Yeah, sorry. How did I parse that? Oh, I didn't write down my parsing. Sorry.
Future deponent I got.
Oh, that is deponent. Well,
Yeah.
that may affect what I
Third
was doing.
plural.
Third, right. And they will.
Yeah.
And there's some latitude. It seemed like they will not be among you. They will not be with you. They will
It's
not
dative
live
singular.
with you.
Dative soy.
I took it to mean they will not be to you or for you. They
Right.
won't be yours.
See, and that's why I didn't know what to do with the dative there.
Yeah.
It sounds like I got the verb right, basically.
You
and
did.
I didn't know how to handle soy.
Yeah. Use a keyword. To, for, in, or with are the most common ones. I put, what did I do? For you. They will
But
not
keeping it as a being verb, because I saw live provided in like the glyph for, the being verb,
Yeah.
be or live, but that
You could say
confused me in an English sense because I don't know how far I'd be getting from it. Dwell among you is probably not right.
probably no. I think since it's using the be verb,
Yeah.
it's the idea of they will not belong to you.
Okay.
They will not be
They will
yours.
not be
Well,
to
but
you or
to
for you.
if it's belonging, wouldn't the genitive?
Genitive, yes.
Right. So,
But just to get the idea across, they will not be to you or for you. You beget them.
Yeah, so
they
they are
will not
of
be
you, I
of-
think.
They're of you.
I think
yeah.
you wouldn't use the genitive that way, probably,
Yeah.
maybe.
because they are your sons.
They are, yeah,
Yeah.
you just said that, I mean,
Right.
Let's see. This is from Deuteronomy 28:41. Let's see what it says there.
Right. On tie is. I remember. I wrote it down right, but I didn't write down my parsing, which was tossed through me for a moment. Right.
You shall have sons and daughters, but they shall not be yours, for they shall go into captivity. But see, this is loose. He put this in parentheses.
they will go into
No, he
captivity.
didn't. No, he didn't.
So, yeah, basically, they won't be among you is probably also true, interestingly, based
Well,
on what that's saying.
They will not be with you.
But yeah, if you're,
Well, maybe.
they will not be
but
with you.
yeah, with you. That's kind of an idea.
I mean,
Okay.
looking at that, it's saying
Yeah.
that they will go into captivity. The context
Yeah.
is they will not be with you.
That's
Yeah.
probably
Wow.
better.
Your
Yeah.
children, but they won't
Wow.
be with you.
I think the
Okay.
whole context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm going to say with.
Yep.
Yeah.
They will not be with you. Yep.
Yep.
Hmm.
U proskuneses, there's our future verb. Tois theois, auton. Ude poieses, another future verb. Kata ta erga auton.
Can I take a stab at this?
You want to do it?
That's the last one I did.
Okay.
See if I can. I've got my verb.
You.
I know you did.
Terrible.
And yeah, after he distracted me.
I know. I made him come out and help me with it.
It's all right. Now, let me do my rough thing here. I'm going to try and make it smoother. You will not worship the gods of them, neither will you do their works.
Very good, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
there-
it.
Yeah, I have not, you will worship the gods of them, neither will you do according to the works of them.
Their
Mhm.
works, yeah.
That's-
Yeah. Very good. Kai epen kurios to
Oh, boy.
Abraham.
This is Genesis.
um, Excelsa ectes ges su kai ectu oiku to patras su esti. Well, let's take it a little bit at a time.
And
Okay. The Achan means he, she, or it said.
Yeah, so the Lord said to Abram.
Yeah, the Lord said to Abram, go out, ectes ges, from the land, or
Gaze, oh, so you give it.
ges.
Yeah,
But- yeah,
and said the Lord,
go out from
to
the land of
Abraham,
you, so go out from
your land.
your land.
Okay, this is when God
the
called Abraham.
land. Yeah, from the land of you.
Yeah.
What's this footnote?
Kai ectu oiku,
And out of your
Out
home.
of
yeah,
your
Yeah.
home, out of the home.
out of the house of the
the
father
house
of you.
Oh.
Yeah, your father's house.
Oh, I see it. It's
Yeah.
literally house.
Out of the house, the father
of-
of you.
Yeah. Ace
Right.
into
okay.
Tengain,
The-
into the land.
Land.
Hain, that's a relative
Which?
pronoun in the accusative,
does that
singular, feminine. So the land which,
Which
on is that particle that changes which to whichever. Whichever
ever
I will show to you, or
Sorry.
whatever.
you I will show.
Yeah.
Uh,
Into the
whatever I
land-
will show you.
Into
Really?
the land, whatever I will show to you.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it never is translated. It doesn't say that in the translations we have.
Here's the land that I will show
It
you.
says simply the land that I
simplify
will
it,
show
yeah.
you.
They simplify it.
Well, why? Okay.
Well, you'll find that the translations we have don't pay as much attention to every grammatical.
And it means the same thing ultimately, but I
Yes, it
really
does.
like the fact that, I mean, it's different
Right.
Yeah.
because God actually said this to him.
Mhm.
Go to whatever land I show you.
Like, yeah,
You don't know. I'm not telling you ahead
telling
of
you.
time.
that's a very good point.
It could be this land, it could be that.
That's why we're studying this. We can see
Yeah.
the little.
Whatever land.
It's like, wow.
Is
It's
this actually
okay. It's
from the
okay. I'm like,
Septuagint?
wow, that's so rich.
Yeah,
So is this actually Septuagint Greek
It is.
text?
yeah, and he's got this one in. No, he doesn't. It's not in parentheses either. Okay, into whichever or whatever
And,
land I will
Okay.
show you
and
to you, and poieso, that's a future, a first singular. I will make you
Say.
into
So say, I will make.
that's yeah, that's a
Yeah.
pronoun, accusative singular, second singular. I will make you into a people,
Ethnos is a
No.
nation or
a nation, people.
okay. Wow,
Ethnos.
that's where we get ethnics.
Yeah, right,
Ethnos.
ethnic. Now that's a very important word.
Okay.
I've been looking at a verse, I think it's in Matthew 23. Let me deviate just a second because this is something I wanted to bring to you at one point. Let me make sure that reference.
And I will make you
Into
into
A nation.
a nation, a great nation, mega.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, let's finish this up here.
Mega.
I will
Great.
make you into a great nation and eulogeso. Eulogeso.
Is that where we get eulogy from?
Yes.
Okay.
I
I will bless you.
will bless you. Kai sa, you will be. That's future deponent of
Eulogeso.
ami, second singular. And you will be blessed.
Oh, essay,
Yeah.
Essay.
because it's, yes, that I see it, I think. Yeah, it's irregular, but
Okay. We have a full paradigm of Amy.
Yep.
Somewhere
That's an
in the back of the
yeah.
book.
that sucker.
I
Yep.
Yeah.
think we'll just
Yeah.
begin to recognize it.
Well, it's good that you recognize. Let
Well,
me
so
see if I
sure.
can find this verse that uses ethnos.
Hmm.
Um,
So, and I will bless you, and you will be blessed.
mhm.
I love that. Wow.
Yeah, I like that too. I'm not going to be able to find it. I thought I could.
That's that unconditional covenant of grace. I will bless you, and you will be blessed.
Whatever God blesses is blessed. Whatever He curses is cursed.
Right. It's like, this is what I'm doing, Abraham. Well, it's like when he makes the covenant with the offerings, right?
Mhm.
He walks through the pieces, Abraham doesn't,
Yeah,
right?
unilateral, unconditional covenant.
Yes. Like,
Puts him to sleep so he can't participate,
yeah, right.
and
Wow.
wakes him up when it's all done.
Yeah.
That's neat. The only thing I was going to show you, and I can't find the verse, I'll have to find it later, is the word ethnos is the most frequently translated Gentile,
Mm.
the nations,
Ah,
but
okay.
only when it's in the plural.
Okay.
When it's in the singular, it can refer to a Gentile, but it can also refer to the nation of Israel. And there's
The
a lot
nation.
of places. It's
Yeah.
you can't assume that ethnos in the singular refers to a Gentile.
Mhm.
I found maybe at least half a dozen, maybe close to a dozen places where it refers to um, a particular nation.
Mhm.
Um,
Does that ever create ambiguity in like Isaiah,
mhm.
where you have these prophecies about
Well-
Israel sometimes, right? Abutting these prophecies about other nations. I mean,
I don't know whether it happens in the Hebrew language, but it does cause confusion in the Greek language of the New Testament. But I'll bring that to you some other time when I find it. I think I might write something up about it.
interesting. Yeah.
Okay, number 16, is that where we are? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's another form of AME. That's future and deponent,
Yep.
second plural.
Okay, so what would it mean if it's
You plural will be,
yeah,
therefore, you will be, who mace.
un as therefore? Is that how you translate it? Un?
Yeah, un is therefore, or then. Let me get my. Okay, therefore you shall be teleoi,
Perfect.
perfect. Hos means as, the father of us. No, father of you, your father. The one, the heavenly, the heavenly father of you is perfect.
It's perfect, yeah.
Now,
The interlinear is strange because
people,
it does weird things with the words.
often think of teleos in the American English sense of the word perfect, but it's not. In the Greek understanding of teleos, it means complete, fully adapted to its purpose. It doesn't mean flawless or sinless.
Okay.
In this sense, there's no person in themselves that could be perfect or sinless.
True. But I've got to look at the context here.
Yeah. Well, this is in the Beatitudes, Matthew 5:48.
It's about loving your enemy.
Right.
Yeah. There's many places where teleos
This is a verse
has the idea of maturity, completely.
Like James, right? That you may be perfect and complete
Yeah.
and lacking nothing.
That's a good example. It doesn't mean sinless or flawless. It means mature or completely
Love your
developed.
enemies,
Mm.
bless those who curse you. Then
So
you
I
will
think
be
when
complete.
we are completely mature, we will also be sinless.
Well,
Those converge. And
Well,
in the next life, yeah.
sure, but what he's saying here, then this perfect is probably not really a great translation of this word, because he's telling us really here that we'll be complete. The thing that's missing in our spirit that we want to fill isn't going to be filled with anger. It'll be filled when we love.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that what he's telling us? And perfect doesn't help that so much.
Yeah. Well, the word perfect has undergone a change in our language,
Okay.
possibly other languages too. And it's fairly recent because, for instance, we've got two tenses in the Greek that are called imperfect and perfect.
yeah, right.
And the idea has nothing to do with sinlessness or perfection in the sense of flawless.
Mhm.
It has to do with completeness, whether the action is complete or not.
Oh, got it.
So that was the normal understanding of that word until fairly recent in the development of our language.
None of the translations. I mean, so the NIV doesn't change that. The NASB doesn't change it.
The word perfect?
Yeah, they leave it as
No.
perfect.
I don't think you'll find a translation.
Well, I mean, they fixed a lot of other things that were changing.
It's not so much that word needs fixing as our understanding of that word needs fixing.
Well, it's a matter of usage. And so there are plenty of words that change usage over time. And I'm just saying, with that usage, there is an expectation by the translator that when we read it, we'll know it means something like complete and not perfect,
What is that verse in James again?
as we really think of it now, which is without fault. And that's
It's James 1, early verses of James 1.
Because one of the problems with the King James was that the language usage has changed so much that it was really a problem. And when we have all these updates to the NASB and the ESV and why they're not catching these other usages. I mean, they can only do so much, I guess. I don't know, but I'm wondering, because clearly Jesus doesn't mean that in our loving those people we're still we're without fault. I mean, it maybe in that instance we are, but
Yeah, I guess I always just took it as like
that
you're striving for the goal of moral perfection or something.
And maybe that wasn't even what he was saying at all.
Right.
Which actually, when he's talking to people most of the time, he's not telling them to go off and be perfect. I mean,
Well,
he says don't sin anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. But he
makes accommodation for us when we do sin by giving us.
He gives us grace.
Yeah. Okay, that's James 1:4.
Is what?
But let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. Perfect there is translation of teleos.
Now, there in that context, I certainly know that
this is about enduring.
But there's no distinction. In the English there, it can only mean everything that work's going to do.
Everything what?
Everything that work. Let patience have a perfect work. Well, patience will do whatever patience does, and it won't do any more than that or less than that. Patience does what patience does.
Yeah.
And the English demands that perfection and completion are the same. Okay? Because logic demands it.
Here, look
There's
at this.
no distinction in the logic. Right? Am I making sense? Well, when Jesus says, do these things and you will be perfect, it's ambiguous.
Look at this in the Greek here. But endurance its work perfect, teleon,
Mm-hmm.
let have, so that you may be mature, teleoi, same word.
Yeah, well, mature.
Teleoi kai.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
Halakhe,
You know, if we didn't vary the words and if we just used complete in all those places, we would
Mhm.
actually have.
Hold on.
Wow.
Why? So there's got to be some distinction between teleoi and holocleroi.
yeah, there is. I have to look that one up though.
Um,
Hollow, it means whole or complete.
Oh, I thought you said the same word. It's
So
a
that
different
would
word.
really be complete.
Oh, it's not the
Uh,
same word.
So
Okay.
maybe like
Yeah,
mature
hollow.
for teleois is
That's
what you're
what they-
suggesting?
Yeah, mature is what they translated here in the New
And
King
what's the,
James.
well,
That you may
complete.
be mature.
So, well, if it's got the same kind of meaning as complete, what's the other word mean? Which they
Well,
translate
let
as
me look.
complete.
Let me look it up.
All the parts are there.
Yeah, hollow is where we get our word
Right, then you
whole
will be
from.
whole.
Mature and
Whole.
complete. Whole.
Just saying
You're
that the
missing
English has enough variance that it could have used consistent words.
It's interesting. If you look at Strong's for teleois,
What does it say?
sorry, teleos.
Yeah.
Brought to its end, finished.
Yeah,
So that's the idea of
Yeah.
maturity.
yeah,
Yeah,
Wanting nothing necessary to completeness. Yeah.
yeah.
And then Strong's gives a fourth definition, that which is perfect, and an A and a B, consummate human integrity and virtue. And
okay,
then B of men full grown adult. Anyway.
okay.
Okay.
This other word, holocleria, is completeness as physical wholeness, perfect health, soundness in all parts of the body. Well,
Wow. Wow, I would have chosen whole.
or here,
As rather than
holocleros,
complete.
okay, of something, okay, that's the noun of completeness, but the adjective holokleros of something complete in all its parts, with focus on quantity rather than quality, complete, whole, intact, of a person in every part of. Okay, so that's complete in all its parts is probably the idea there.
Well, this says complete lacking nothing is
Yeah.
the rest of the sentence.
Yeah, lacking.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
there we go. That's
Interesting.
just an idea.
Thank you.
Talking about the word perfect.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that.
Okay, dikaiasune gar theu in auto apocalyptai ekpisteos eis piston kathos egraptai ada dikaias ek pisteos zesitai. Okay. It's number 17. For
Yeah.
Yeah. For is the gar, that's post
Right.
positive.
For
Righteousness.
Sune, for God's righteousness.
For okay.
Yeah.
Is it Theou?
I'm missing something here. Just a minute. For a righteousness of God in it. Okay, en auto. We don't know what it is referring to unless you get a little bit more of the context.
Right.
It's talking about the gospel in verse 16. So in the gospel, for in it
Reveal.
a righteousness of God, apocalyptai, is revealed. There is revealed or is being revealed if you want the continuous aspect. Ek pisteos, that's from faith or
faith.
out of faith. Ace piston, into faith. From faith to faith is the way a lot of translations go.
Kathos.
Just as it is written. Get graptized. It is written.
Here we go.
Ha de dikaios. De is postpositive.
And the righteous.
And or but the righteous person from
Righteous.
And the
from
righteous
faith will
by faith
live, or
The righteous will live by faith.
by faith. Yeah.
I'm beginning to recognize that the interlinears here do
Mhm.
some really strange things.
Now here, this zesetai, I put a notation here. This is middle voice. This is not a deponent verb.
Which one? I'm sorry.
Zesetai.
Mhm.
Zao is the lexical form,
It's not a deponent, right?
not
So
a
it's-
deponent. It's a true middle.
Ah.
The active, it's not an active either. Zese is active.
Mhm.
And because it's middle, that I think there's significance to that.
Well,
I put down,
because there,
So it's third singular, future,
um,
middle. Sorry.
yeah, future, middle, indicative, third singular.
they will live by faith.
Now, there's another verse that uses that same form
Well,
of
is this, you're saying
zesetai.
it's a middle, but it's not passive. It's
Not
middle.
passive either. No, not they shall be lived.
Right,
But
they are, but it implies that they're not the only ones acting.
well, just a
Perhaps.
minute. Let's wait a minute here. It's also used, that form of that verb is used in John 11:25, where Jesus says, I am the resurrection and the life. Let me find it here. Yeah, even though he die, he shall live. Zesetai. That's also middle voice. So the active is he does the acting. The passive is the action is done to him. The middle is he does the action, he lives, but he's affected by that action. He
I'm thinking middle is more complicated than that.
Yeah, it is. And sometimes I believe I've seen this written. Sometimes the idea is it's associated with intransitivity. Now, this is an intransitive verb. It does not take an object. You don't live something.
Right.
You yourself live.
I don't know. I might be living the life. Just kidding. Sorry.
Oh, well,
Just a
okay.
joke.
Well, but then what does it mean to have, would you ever, you say it's not a deponent, so what does active live mean? I live for myself. I mean, what does it mean? Of course I get something out of it.
Yeah,
I don't know what active would mean.
it doesn't, well, you would translate it as if it were active, but somehow
No,
to say
you said it's not
he
deponent,
will live.
that it's
Right.
actually middle,
Means you could write
which means there's an
active
active sense to the verb.
Yeah, it's an
Well, what in the
active.
world would that mean?
versus middle. You're asking what would be this?
What case would you say that?
It benefits the subject. It's just,
Well,
I don't,
seems like-
Carl, I'm struggling to understand how I would use the verb to live in something that we would call, it's an intransitive verb.
yeah.
So how do you use an intransitive verb in an active voice? Like
Well,
live. I don't live something, like you just
Okay,
said.
here's another intransitive verb. I stand.
Yeah.
It can have a transitive form. I stand my son in the corner. But if I just stand myself, I don't say I stand myself. I just say I stand. That's an
Okay.
intransitive use of
And
that
that would
verb.
be in the middle voice.
Not necessarily. That probably active voice. And you could use this.
I am stood up would be.
I'm
passive.
still, no, I get that. Look, I can't think of I
Well,
can't think of any difference in the verb
in the meaning.
live.
Yeah.
How would I come up with a meaning that's any different?
Well,
I don't, what are
it's
the words?
just emphasizing the fact that it's benefiting me to live. You could have said it, they say, which is the active form of that word. And it would
Well, and I'm,
still be translated, he will live.
but this be, so if that's what you're saying is true, okay, thank you. So your example would be, I could use active here.
Mhm.
But if I said that, would it be the case that it's my faith by which I live? And I'm wondering if it's in the middle because it's actually not my faith by which I live.
Well,
The
I
just
hadn't
shall
thought
live
of
by
that.
faith. Well, whose faith is it?
Well, it's
It's
a
actually
faith that's been
God's.
given
It's
to
been
us.
given to
Yeah.
him. I'm
But
wondering if it's real. I wonder. I
I
don't.
don't think that's taking a different, it's taking another aspect or another, how can I say it? It is by faith, and you're right. It's a faith that's been given to us. But you could use this verb without saying anything about by faith, and it still would be middle voice. But I think all that the middle voice is doing in this case is emphasizing the fact that the subject is benefited by living.
Okay, but Carl, there's no way to look at it any other way.
No, in that verb, there is no other way to look
So
at it.
I don't see what the middle voice has to do with anything in this sentence. It's meaning, it doesn't
The
have any meaning.
translation of it, in all of our translations,
It's
he
simple.
will live.
It's simple.
But
Well,
the middle voice says he will live and it will be to his advantage, not disadvantage.
yeah,
It's
no, it's okay, but right, there's no distinction. It's a
no,
distinction without a meaning.
well, perhaps.
I mean, what would be is there any difference if you translated it? If you actually wrote this in Greek with an active voice, would it mean something different?
Possibly, but in English
How?
it doesn't.
No, logically, how would it mean something different? I don't understand that.
Well, because we're used to thinking only in terms of
No, I can
active.
think, if you use enough words, you can describe a concept. If I loose the horse, there's an implied understanding I may write it, and therefore I'll use the middle voice. If I loose the alligator, it's probably not for my benefit, and I'll use the active voice. I'm serious. This is an
I know you're
exact
serious.
example
Yeah.
that was given using Greek that I looked up online trying to understand these voices, and you can explain what that means. But I struggle to understand any logical how you describe a difference. And if you can't describe it, then I'm not
Yeah.
sure it's real. Okay.
I wrote something on Hebrews 1:3 that has a use of the middle voice, and I don't want to take the time right now, and I'm not really prepared to give it to you.
Okay. I'm about this one particular verb. I'm having trouble understanding how active is any different on
Would there
this
be
verb.
living and then living?
Oh my God.
Well, you have that John 8:32, life abundantly.
Right.
Was that active or is that
Well,
middle?
I don't know.
Well,
But
and you don't need it to be either one. I don't.
why don't we try
It's
to
okay.
finish
It's okay.
up here? That was number 17. Number 18. Ean agapate me tas entelos tas emas te resite. Ean is the form of if that's used for with the subjunctive, which is what we have. Agapata is subjunctive, which simply means if you love me, you may or you may not. But if you do, you will keep my commandments.
Okay, tas and tolas, that's the
The
commandments.
commandments,
Tas.
the my ones, the emas,
And mas.
the my commandments.
Okay,
you will keep, te recita.
I see it. Okay, and that, right, okay. That's future active indicative.
He has an
second.
error here.
He does?
On the notes for 18, it says John 14:15. There isn't a 15th verse in, and it's John 14:14.
Okay,
Okay, so if you're giving him corrections, there's one you can give him.
I'm not going to give him any corrections. Okay, now the next one, 19, uses a instead of on. Atistele, if someone wishes, or if anyone wishes or wants first to be first, if anyone wants to be first, footnote 12, to be, that's an infinitive. Estai, that's future deponent, third singular of ame.
So A and I is the infinitive of to be.
Yeah, the
Okay.
I ending, alpha iota, is present active infinitive. He will be last of all. Yeah. So if anyone wants to be first, he will be last of all.
Wait, so S tie is
Future deponent indicative, third singular of ame.
oh yeah, okay, got it.
He will
Yes.
be.
Eschatos.
He will be
Eschatos, yeah.
Last
the
of all.
last of all.
And the Aryan.
Huron, see the rough breathing? I have found Dawid. And by the way, Eureka, remember who was the
Socrates.
Socrates, yeah. He said, you literally, that means I have found it.
Okay.
He found the solution by sitting in a bathtub and displacing water.
Right. That's buoyant force, right?
Yeah. I have found David, oh, we got two forms of the article together here. Footnote 13. The word ton is modifying. Word ton is modifying is often dropped out of this type of construction. What is the word? Oh, the word which ton is modifying is up. It makes more sense to add the word which. Okay. What is the word that it's modifying? Ton modifies David. David is in the accusative. I have found David, the one of Jesse,
The son of Jesse.
the son of Jesse. Yeah.
The of Jesse one. Okay.
Andra is man, male. Man, kata ten cardian mu. Cardian means heart. Mu is my heart. Kata ten, according to my heart. I have found David, the son of Israel, or the one of Israel. Jesse, excuse me, not Israel. A man according to my heart.
Okay. Man after man's own heart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Has is a relative pronoun, nominative, singular, masculine. Who, poiese, will do, antata, telematamu.
All.
Telema is will. Who will do all my will.
My will. Yeah.
Huh.
Okay.
That's a good verse. You know, that ties in with something I've been studying about. Find something, David?
No, I'm just trying to look through this.
Okay, well, I believe we have pretty well finished this section. And if you're satisfied with it, we can say goodbye to chapter 19.
Yeah.
and Chapter 20.
Did you say that for chapter 20, we were gonna need to remember which verbs are contracts? and
Yes.
Not?
It will be very helpful to have that pretty firmly in your mind. I think you might have listed all the contract verbs somewhere, but if,
So Tau, I'm sorry, we're just looking at this one. Tau is like the one of Jesse.
okay, two, you mean,
Two, yeah, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
two.
two, yes, I,
Right. It's on.
of
On
Jesse,
two. Oh, the one of Jesse
yeah,
or
the one.
the one of Jesse.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
When you have genealogies in the
Yeah.
New Testament, they often say, the man, say, for instance, David,
This
to Yesai,
right.
Yesai,
That's
Yeah,
interesting because the translations put
the
usually say
one
the
of
son.
Jesse,
Yeah, and I'm looking in the English, they translated as son, but
Mhm.
it's really just
the one
David,
of,
the one from Jesse.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
David.
That's
Jesse.
interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what would you like to do for chapter 20? You want to wait until we get together to read the chapter? You want to read it on your own first? And
If we need some, I just wonder if some vocab,
Review?
would be useful if we're going into.
It
a
probably
situation where
would be.
knowing which contracts is gonna be,
Okay,
and I guess if we have a table to work with, then maybe we could just move forward. I just think if we read the chapter together next week,
that's been our habit.
that's fine. That's fine. That'll give me time to go back.
Oh, he talked about a table. I'm not sure what
Yeah.
you're saying. We have
A
our
listing of all the
of all the endings. I mean,
No,
I'm not sure what
contract,
you're.
which
Oh, a
contract
table, a
verbs.
list of what all the contract verbs are?
Yeah.
Contracts.
The ones that we've learned so far.
Um,
I would like it if we could have them firmly in our mind.
Okay, if we're reading together next week, that gives me time to go back and
Yeah.
review our vocab in the last few chapters.
Yeah.
And mark out which ones are contract.
okay.
I could do that before.
Do you want to have
That
a
would work.
vocabulary quiz?
No.
I don't want any quizzes.
Okay.
I want to go back and make some more vocab
And-
cards. That'd be good for me.
Okay,
But
all right.
I don't know if a quiz is necessary.
Okay.
I think I can do that part.
tell you what, I'll list all the contract verbs and bring it next time. Give you a copy of it. You can do the same on your own if you want.
Okay.
I might even get all the verbs together that we have learned
Yeah,
up to this
Okay.
point.
sure. That'd be a benefit. I mean, I'm probably gonna end up doing that for myself because that's how I remember them.
Yeah.
If I go and make my own cards, for all the words we did.
Now, after chapter 20, which is the next chapter, there's going to be a review of 5 chapters
Yeah.
in the workbook. So we'll have, and I like it if we do that together, but maybe not every detail.
Okay. Wait, so we're hitting a review now?
No, in the
After 20.
workbook, after chapter 20, there's a review. And I think a section to translate.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay, shall we close in prayer then?
Sure.
You want to stop the recording first?
Oh, we can do that. See. Bye, everybody.
Good night. I'm embarrassed about
Oh, I can't.
forgetting.